Is there a way to pull a driving record without the person knowing? Yes. Does it differ by state? Yes, it does. So, okay, so in Texas, and V, I know you're in Texas, if you pull the form, the request form that goes to the state of Texas, there is an option for a licensed private investigator without a waiver to pull a driving record. But if you do have many different reasons to pull a driving record. Most of the time you can figure out if someone has their license suspended just by simply going on to the Texas Department of Drivers DPS website to see if they have surcharges. You can look up their surcharges with their driver's license information, and then you can also what else? You can see if you have to pay to reinstate your license. You would be able to go into the same screen with the same information. It's in a different place. I don't know if it's on DPS's website or another website, but it's Texas. So if their license is suspended and you're presented with paying a reinstatement fee, then their license is suspended. So, I mean, I don't even care anymore. I don't care to look. I only want to look for court dates, traffic tickets, to see when they're going to go to court so that I can get the repo person to go drive around the court and look for my repo while they're in front of the judge, if they show up. That is. Sometimes they do. So let me see here. Has DRN gotten better with their information plates location sale? Okay, Martin. So this really crazy thing happened this past year, 2019. Motorola bought DRN. You know, Motorola, like TV, cell phone, radio, those people. They bought DRN. I think they own 3M anyway, if I'm not mistaken, because I used to buy a lot of 3M products, and I think that I saw that, you know, because I had a demolition company, and I still do, you know, have a small demo company. I knock down and gut houses for insurance jobs, and like we have to wear the full mask with the respirators, and it's 3M, and I think I read something about Motorola owning that company, which makes sense. So Motorola bought DRN, they bought Plate Locate, they bought a third huge company called MVTrack, and this year they're consolidating all of the databases, which makes it really amazing. It's not good for us skip tracers, that is, because, you know, that just puts one more thing for everybody else to do before you decide to hire me. I may actually need to go to work for a company if things go that way, but it looks like it's going to happen this year, and it's already began. And I don't know what two databases. I think MVTrack and DRN merged, because I still have a Plate Locate login, and I don't think I get DRN hits, or I would have a lot more in my Plate Locate dashboard if I did. Yeah, Richard, I know. I just have the Plate Locate dashboard, so somebody else would have to give me their opinion on that. But I think that everybody will know it when it happens. You'll just see a lot more results. There are certain things that happen to you where you should just say, okay, whatever, and roll with the punches. I do it every day. I'm attacked every day. There are people out there that don't like me. They don't appreciate what I do, and they don't happen to think that I'm legal or whatever for their whatever reason, that I don't approve or I don't condone of what he did. And so I also said some other things which I was wrong about, and I said I was wrong, and I didn't have a problem with saying I was wrong. But he did this amazing thing by going into all these public databases and pulling information about me. And then he made some statements. Some of those statements were correct, and some of them weren't. Yes, I wrote hot checks when I was a teenager. Okay. I did. I had checks that bounced. I wasn't good with keeping up on all that. But he said some stuff about pretexting that I want to address. So this is the most important. This is the only reason why I'm rehashing this thing that has already been closed. He was right about some stuff, and I'm right about some stuff. And so here's where the real conflict is that I want to address. He is in the debt collection industry. Okay, I am too, but I do other things. And I spoke about a pretext that I did for a process server to figure out, like, we knew that the kid worked for Walmart, but didn't know which Walmart. So I went, and of course there's like one on every corner in Houston, right? I decided to go and call 3 or 4 different Walmarts to try to figure out what store this kid was at. And you just can't ask for somebody. They don't. So hey, is Johnny there? Do you know what department he works in? No, I'm sorry, I don't. Well, I can't transfer your call if I don't know what department, because they really can't. They're not going to go, Johnny, you have a call. And then so I wrote that I went, and I'll post what I wrote later in the thread after this video is over, so you can read what I wrote, because what I did was pretty cool and it worked like instantly. I wrote that I was this kid's neighbor, and that I knew he worked at a Walmart in my neighborhood, and that his dog got out. And because this is based off of a pretext where a lot of process servers or private investigators will go knock on a door with a lost dog just to get them to answer the door with a puppy in their arms or a leash. It's better to have a leash, because I've heard other people say that the person who opened the door ripped a puppy out of someone's hands or their hands, and it was emotional and a big deal, and it was a fiasco to get the puppy back. But so I based off of that, I called and said, I have this little dog, and it's his dog, and I don't know what to do with it. And I have a dog that's, me, and we need to see if he can come home real quick and put his dog up. And those employees went into overdrive to look and see if he was there, and then said, no, he doesn't work at the store, but we know who he is. He works at the store down the street on this other, and down the freeway. And I thought, thank you. That's what I need to know. And then so I was able to call my PI back and say, hey, so I got it. He works at this other store down there. And then I told him how I did it, because, I don't want to ever have to do the same thing twice. I mean, I get calls all day long, like 100 of them. So I think it's better to tell somebody how you did it so they can do it for themselves in the future. So I just wanted to clarify that. I thought that was important, and it worked. It was a great trick. So let's see. Richard says, I sure hope they will make all data available to all 3 plate systems. I do too. I would be happy to get DRN scans in my plate locate dashboard, that's for sure. I had DRN and was paying $800 a month for it, and I had to let it go because I couldn't justify the expense. It wasn't really that good for Houston. And I don't have to pay anything just to see that there is a scan. I don't get scan information, but I know that there is a scan, and I think that that's pretty monumental for what I do. But that is the thing that you want to skip trace from. It gives you inspiration to keep going, and when you get to the end of the list, just turn around and hop into the beginning and start from the beginning. Yeah, that's right, Dennis. Hire Valerie. So at the number 1 point on this list is names and aliases. And I wrote, available on most credit reports such as Experian and Equifax, they actually have a section where there's aliases. And it's possible in some databases when you see aliases that if you do, and I'm not sure that you do, if you do, that's where it comes from. Because there are misspellings where someone who was typing in the data, doing the data entry to actually pull a credit report, made their typo, or like when I was in my 20s, I had my credit report, I checked my credit because I was getting ready to buy my first house, as a matter of fact. Pulled my credit, I was 26. Somebody had pulled my credit as Calorie, C-A-L-O-R-I-E. I thought, is that a bad joke? Really? Why would you do that? But it landed on my credit report. So I don't know who did, because I never traced down the subscriber number that reported it. But I mean, that's where it came from. And so in the years past, whenever I was able to, I mean, we used to be able to search ourselves, you know, and I would occasionally pop in my own name just to see what came up. That let me know how good the database was, because I know what I've been doing and when I did it, right? Well, now we're not allowed to do that, just to let you know. You just simply cannot. But so it was a good lesson. You know, I saw calorie good down in all those databases and thought, well, I know where that came from. It came from the credit bureau. And it was only on Experian, I think. It wasn't on all three. But anyway. Yeah, first payment default keeps moving. That's the kind of skip I get all the time. I can definitely give it my best shot. So back to names and aliases. So this is why I say use or take the one address where you know that person lived, even if it was a short while, they lived there and you know they lived there. They use that address to apply for credit, to get utilities, probably to buy insurance or anything else that they needed. Oh, you're fine. And then search the address only. No names, no other identifiers, just the address. You're going to get the entire history of anybody who has ever lived there, plus every version of every name that person has ever used. And this is really important for women who skip often, because, you know, they can use any name they used to use in a prior marriage. I actually found somebody doing that while I was skip tracing out in the field. It was a girl. I found her on Parker Road, and he said, no, that's not right. And I said, yes, it is. Watch and see. I'm going to show you. Go there. I'll prove it. Let's just go. And there the car was. So I said, booyah, I win. So what happened was I pulled her name. No, wait. I did. I ran the address, and then I found several different variations of her name. Then I went into Accurate, and I pulled her first name. I used her first name and her date of birth in the city of Houston as search terms, and found a version of her name on Parker Road in Houston, in a real bad area of Parker. The entire Parker Road is a bad area now, but back then that area was the worst. So, and there it was. That's how I found it. So I haven't tried to use that search term of a first name with a date of birth and in a city in a long time, because I think that most databases don't do that anymore. But I heard somebody who worked for Delve Point say that they do allow a search that way. I was not able to search that way on Find My Skip. And the owner of Find My Skip told me that Accurate did not allow his database to search that way, or he would allow that search to happen, because literally each search term pulls from a column on a table. So you're pulling the first name Valerie with the birth date city of Houston, pulls it from another column on a table. So you get all the Valeries that were born on December 15th, 1969. Don't search me in a database, please. Don't do that, because you don't have permissible purpose. That's another thing I'm going to talk about in a minute. And then the city, which I stuck to Houston. There's a lot of suburbs of Houston, so if I didn't find it in Houston, I would have to go pop around. And then that's the successful search. And you're not spending that much money. So if you search that way, you're going to spend probably less than $10 from start to finish, which is good. I mean, for me, you know, I got a $500 paycheck out of that. So that was very good. So when I wrote my first book, I got a review that said, I don't know what her real name is, but she's amazing. I appreciate the kudos, and I know who wrote the review. I'm friends with her now, but you can't just search people randomly And I know that people have recently, and I have my name and all my identifiers flagged in all the databases for many different reasons, but you actually have to, be, unless I owe you money, that is. Now that's possible. I might owe you some money. but that's it. Don't, because you'll get audited, and I don't want you to get audited for searching me. You won't find anything. I've lived in the same place since 2008. So that's it. So don't search by name and date of birth, but address and date of birth. Interesting. I use TLO. What will I find? So I first search by social security number. And if I don't see anything recent, then I go back to the most recent address that I know, and then search by address only. So I'm looking for other people who lived there at the same time so I can run them. I'm looking for other people who lived there at the same time as the debtor did, or Skip. And then the search that I did, because I couldn't find my debtor, the one girl that I found on Parker Road, I did that because I wasn't finding anything under her social security number or any name that I knew. And then I figured out she had a lot of different names and that she used different names often. And that searching by a first name only and a date of birth in a city gave me an address that was like 2 weeks old and the car was there. So that was it. So that's the difference between those different ways of searching. And I know that it sounds like those are a lot of extra clicks, but I find more using those searches than somebody else would use using a comprehensive report. I don't believe that you're going to get those search results with a comprehensive report. Hi, Greg. So I think that I think that's one of the best methods to use in searching. And then and so I would keep checking and searching that way. But you want to run an address only to get that's fine. I go by both. So you know what I mean, Gotcha live there at the same time, so maybe they still live together somewhere else. That's exactly right. So if your debtor isn't applying for credit, somebody else is doing it for them. They know that they can't just go get another apartment. Maybe they screwed up on their lease and they can't get another lease. So they need to get somebody to do it for them. And the only person that's willing to do it is somebody who is invested in them, which would be someone they live with. Possibly their mother too. I mean, occasionally I check mom to see if the mother actually would do something for their kids. And there's other, typical scenarios. So, and then even also I find some of the, whenever I check references and I'm looking for new information on references, I'll run them to see if there's new information to contact them. And then I'll go there to door knock and the repo will be sitting in the driveway because the reference went and got something in their name for that person. And psychosomatically, whenever a debtor is filling out a reference form, it's the most interesting thing, but the very first person or the first couple of people on the reference sheet are actually people that the debtor is very, very close to. Like, I put my mother's name first, or a friend that I talk to all the time first on the reference sheet. And then the person at the bottom of the reference sheet is just one more person that I had to rack my brain, good information, for them because, and that I may never talk to and they don't really know where I live or may not even have my current phone number. So that's it. So now let's see. The next one is date of birth. And I think I kind of just talked about that. I wrote, seen on all types of database records and internet searches, list all variation of a skip's date of birth. Sometimes there are many, regardless if they're typos, deliberate, or knowing all of them, and knowing all of them helps you spot the same inconsistency somewhere else. Greg says, oh my God, I attempt service at places all the time. The residents have never heard of the debtors. They just use their address. Yeah, I believe that. I believe it. And I get real upset with my clients when they don't use or they don't verify information with the person on the phone. And that even if the address is no good, that the phone number will be, because they need to get them on the phone to verify that reference. So at one point in time or another, the phone was good for that person. But they don't, my clients won't pick up the phone and call. They need to start doing that. So the number 3 on the skiptrace list, ultimate skiptrace list, is Social Security number. So there was another debtor that I found who was very upset that I found him. Well, they all are, but I mean, this guy was scared. He was upset. He was threatening my life. And the reason why is because I ran his name only in a database, and he had a unique name. And he was using like 25 different Social Security numbers. And it was that year that Bush had passed a law making it a felony to use somebody else's Social Security number. So I thought I'm going to jerk his chain, watch and see. And I printed out the accurate report and I showed it to him. I said, so would you like to go to jail for using all these other people's Social Security numbers? Or would you like to give me my car? You tell me what you want to do. And he very begrudgingly pulled the car out of the garage and threw the keys on the ground. And I got my car because of a printout. It was very interesting.